and I'm going to throw out something that actually goes back to the origins of my interest in these ideas that I'm constantly talking about, and it is the idea of reauthoring conversations. And when I ended up in a weekend workshop about narrative therapy, and was in a conversation with a guy named Bill Lax, who ended up being my dissertation chair. But he did this reauthoring conversation with me, and the thing about the conversation was that it was, he said, this is sort of an example of narrative therapy, and what we talked about was stuff that mattered to me, things that I hold dear, my passions, and so I was like, what an amazing conversation, and what an amazing way to do therapy. And the cool thing about it, in the context of what I've been throwing out in terms of all these questions, asking different types of questions, is, imagine what it'd be like if somebody you were in conversation with was clearly and obviously very interested in what you're passionate about, and not that they were interested in it as well, but that they were interested in not understanding, but more richly describing what you're passionate about. And imagine if that was going in both directions. And so I don't know about you, but that seems like a really cool thing to talk about, because not only the thing about this conversation that I had with Bill was that it wasn't just about what I knew, it became that we were also talking about things that I never even thought about before. Because these questions, as I said before, are expansive, and they create a space into which the not yet known but possible can start to be described. And what a cool place, not yet known but possible. So it's possible, but I haven't quite explored that or been to that territory yet. And so these conversations are extraordinary and amazing. But yeah, so just think about that for a bit, about the idea of what it would be like to be sitting with somebody who clearly wants to richly describe those things that you're passionate about, and that you would experience that from, and that person would experience that from you too. And that's what the conversation would be like. And that you can have those kinds of conversations whenever you want to, all the time. And that those kinds of conversations can sort of be additional to, or supplement, or also be a part of your experience of interacting with people. Especially in times when it seems like disagreements and lack of understanding are kind of everywhere, that we could transform conversations into these kinds of things. Sounds pretty cool to me. So anyway, that's what's next for Dr. That's it for today. I'll be back